Hey guys, it's Tim Whitty time, y'all. Welcome one and all to the Trust Me When I Tell You podcast. We are broadcasting to you from across these contiguous United States of America. On behalf of Huff, Nails, Cal, and myself, Little Marty, we invite you to sit back, relax, and embrace your inner pioneer of stupidity while enjoying this well over our targeted time of 35 minutes long podcast. Take it away, man. Woo, woo!
Powered by Riverside FM.
Happy Valentine's Day, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Trust Me When I Tell You podcast. And as always, want to thank all the listeners out there for continuing to follow us, turning on all your family and friends, making sure that they know this is not G-rated, but also following us on Twitter at TrustWhen, following us on Instagram at Trust Me When I Tell You, and following us on YouTube at YouTube/Trust Me When I Tell You. Easy for me to say. Oh, boys. Family episode. We got Huff. We got Nails. We got Kevin. How's it, Dan?
So you say Happy Valentine's Day because it's Friday, but this episode's being released on Monday, Valentine's Day. But I call Valentine's Day Happy 31 days to St. Patrick's Day. Every single year, with the exception of leap years, it's 31 days to St. Patrick's Day. Typically, I'm single on Cupid's Day. So I always have something. That's where my official countdown for St. Patrick's Day starts. So, men, I will tell you, happy 31 days to St. Patrick's Day.
Even better there, even better. And a warm welcome back to family member, season 4, contiguous and continuous contributor, our guy, our buddy, the chef, the man, the myth, the legend. You know him, you love him. Chef Kevin King, how's it?
How's it, Chris? How's it, Dan? Doing pretty good. Just watching the hockey game. Excited to be invited on last minute.
Who's winning that game, by the way?
U.S. is winning the game right now. U.S. is winning the game right now. 2-1, but still a lot of game left. So,
U.S. of America.
Yeah, you bet they are,
dude. So obviously, it's our favorite time of the year. It's Olympic season. One thing I've noticed, Kevin, is the medal count feels really low at this point after a weekend. You know, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or is it always this way?
Winter Olympics is always this way. I don't know if you guys follow the Winter Olympics that much, but I mean, I'm a big win. Yeah, I figured you did, but
your roommate does for sure.
I'm a big Olympics fan. So Winter Olympics, they don't have nearly as many events and stuff, and it's a lot more team events. And
is that an Olympic tattoo you're showing off there?
No, sorry.
What's what are we?
Oh, that's I have a lion tattoo on my shoulder.
A tattoo?
Oh, with this whole thing? So we got 3 guys.
Yeah, we do. The question is, Dan. Danimal, how many animals do you have tattooed on your body?
I don't have any animals.
Weak.
No, I have 0 animals.
How many animals do you have tattooed on you, Kevin? Just the one?
Just the one, but I'm gonna get another one. Well, because
the king. Of the sea?
Actually, an eagle, king of the air, but. It's actually, it's because the lions on my we're British, right? So we've got family crests and everything like that on both sides of the family. So lions on my father's family crest, and then the eagles on my mother's family crest. So I'm gonna get a tribal eagle underneath this one, and then finish it off. But
you know what? Speaking of crests, there's not enough sharks on family crests. Why is that?
And when I say I was going to say, I've never seen a family crest with a shark on it. That's a good question. Maybe there's not enough sharks in. Yeah,
you should get a Dinwiddie crest.
100%.
Yeah, you got.
We already have the.
Yeah, you guys think what I'm thinking?
We just gotta have it holding some olive branches.
Tim Whitty family crest has got to have a shark in it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So Kevin, we were sitting around with. God, we got to have Brannigan on with you. This guy would fucking kill you. He's the best. VP Brannigan, by the way. We're sitting around.
Oh yeah,
shout out. Yeah, roll call the fucking VP. We're sitting around and like we're just having a fucking good old time. And Brannigan looks over at Dan with all his tattoos. He goes, "We should all get matchy tattoos." I go, "Yeah, like sharks on our ankles." And he's like everybody laughed except for him. And then he like looks down the next day when I had shorts on. He goes, "Oh my God, that's hilarious. I didn't get it why everyone laughed, but you have a shark tattooed on your ankle," which is
Do you really?
I do.
That's awesome.
Pretty
It's
Pretty
a
sweet.
fierce looking one too. It's fucking scary. It like takes up his whole calf.
like it takes up my whole
how,
ankle.
how long did it take you to get that?
That's awesome.
Ankle bone, just the ankle bone.
I thought it was going to be my gateway drug to tons of tattoos, but it was not. It was a one and done, which a lot of people are not disappointed by that at all. But I do want to have a whole tattoo episode when we have Jason on. So roll call Jason Kramer if he's listening. I want to have the whole tattoo discussion when he gets on here. But
Good old Jay
you
Crane.
got it. But before we get all the way into topics de jour, as I like to say, de jour is like my accoutrement. And do we give the Smoke Show guys enough credit for? I feel like we hijacked accoutrement right around how often they said it, but to Mike Ivasil, to Sean Blegian, to Davey Hubbard, we know that's your word, but Placco's been saying it probably just a little bit, not as long as Davey Hubbs, but pretty close. But anyways,
See, I always thought they kept saying it by they, I mean Matt and Kyle, just because they know how much I love it. Like when that word is said in this podcast, I make sure I say shout out accoutrement.
Oh,
I
you
love
do.
that word, 'cause I
but
never
the
abuse it.
Kevin, how
I
often
love
do you say the word accoutrement? You don't need to, do you?
No, I don't think I ever say the word outside of. I mean, I try and drop it into conversation once in a while now because of this podcast. But I mean, but nobody else
words
gets
are
the
brony.
joke except for me. But outside of that, I don't really say the word. I don't think.
On the groundhog episode, when you guys, like, I had to listen and keep rewinding because when you guys got deep into whatever pork, I can't even think of it now. Not the Pimeo bacon. Pimeo, is that how we say it? Or
Pimeo bacon,
Yeah.
Scottish bacon.
Pimeo, Scottish bacon. I loved all that. And I put that to memory, but I forgot the whatever the high end pork you guys were talking about. I text Flacco. I go, I have no idea what these guys are talking about.
Iberico ham.
It's way over my pay grade. Yeah, Iberico.
Iberico ham.
That was way above my pay grade.
Yeah,
but I enjoyed it. And then listening back to it, because like I sometimes do enjoy listening back to it and remembering. And I'm like, dude, I had no fucking clue what they're talking about. And
yeah, no, it's good stuff. I'll have to give it a try. We have some up here, so when you guys come up to Canada, you'll have to come to the winery and try some.
you know it. But you know what else is good stuff?
Come out to the winery.
What's that?
Powered by Riverside FM.
That's exactly what good
That's
stuff
right,
is.
baby. Riverside FM. Let's talk about Riverside.fm. You got a podcast and you Zoom to do your recordings? Well, we are here to tell you, stop and sign up with Riverside.fm, the leading podcast and video creation platform that's changing the game on how creators record content. Riverside.fm allows you to record studio quality audio and up to 4K video on their platform. Have a guest that's 1,000 miles away or in Canada? Riverside.fm will make it sound like they're sitting in the same room as you. It's just as easy as Zoom, but gives you much higher quality audio and video recording. And that is the name of the game, folks. Did I mention that they've got
You
an
did
app
not.
too?
You didn't.
Nope.
Did I?
You did not.
Well, good golly almighty, they've got an app. This allows guests to connect directly from their phone and record content with you, whether they're in Seattle checking out the Space Needle, or in Ottawa, or Vancouver, or in Beijing watching the Olympics. And they're going to sound just like they're with you. Once your content is finished recording, you can easily grab clips to share across all of your social media channels. So if you're looking to go from zero to hero for all your recording needs, whether it's podcasting, webinars, you need to be using Riverside.fm, people. So be like us. Sign up today so you can focus on your content and leave the quality to the team at Riverside.fm. Use promo code SHIPIT, SHIPIT, and receive a 30% discount on your first 3 months of your subscription. What a hell of a deal. We love the audio quality. We love the clips on our social. Go check it out. Sign up. Get your 30% off. Riverside.fm.
Do it. You know what I love too is that when you said webinar, in very early pandemic, when virtual meetings first started to become all of our norm, Dana was telling a story on an early Tim Woody podcast. We were on a webinar earlier, and I was like, he just said webinar. It was awesome. Like, we're just out there, teaching the
nerd.
folks what's going on. And
Well,
how many webinars do you have to attend on a weekly basis there, Kev?
oh man, we're corporates. We're corporate, so we got all kinds of them. I don't even know what half the meetings are for. We use no free ads, teams there, and we're on them constantly, and half of them are about how great the company is and stuff like that. And I mean, I think half these people at it.
Now, do you use a sweet background? Teams offers a pretty sweet cornucopia, if you will, of
You tell me this story?
virtual backgrounds.
I need to hear the story now. No, I don't use a background.
Do you?
No, just my
You
office.
don't use a background? Are you talking about the story about the one I put my picture on social media?
not that one, but very early on.
Or the one with me?
Yeah,
and you?
very early on in the webinars when we were podcasting like every single night. Dan picked out some weird background, then I automatically picked it. So it was just me and him with the same background. And they're like, yeah, that's so weird. You guys have the same background. I'm like, no, we're in the same spot. How do you think we podcast every night? That's pretty awesome.
So that same background I use, I was watching the news this morning, and some colonel was using that too. I'm like, this guy's using Teams because he's sitting in my studio apartment.
How come this guy never gets on the podcast?
Yeah. We were like ships in the night, just passing through, But yeah, so it looks like it's in the city, right? And I put it on my Facebook, and this one girl who's in our industry, she goes, "You moved to the city?" I go, "Yep." She goes, "Where?" I go, "You can't tell by that skyline." She goes, "Diversity?" I'm like, "No, you dummy, it's a fucking backdrop." She goes, "Oh my God, I feel so stupid."
I thought you were going to lean all the way in and let her think that you moved to Diversity. What's Diversity? The city of Diversity?
It's a street.
Yeah. No water towers there, I guess. Not in the background.
Speaking of girls, it's Valentine's Day, folks.
It is.
Men. What are we doing for the episode this evening? Are we getting into all the latest and greatest things we've accomplished with the women in our lives? What's the haps? What do you think?
I'm thinking a lot, but when you said is it 31 days to St. Patty's Day? Is that what the countdown was? 31 days.
31
but did
days.
you know that your roommate next to you right there was actually married on leap? Is it called leap year or leap day?
I guess it's leap day, February 29th. Leap day.
Dude, that's a good question. Now my brain.
But I mean, how much more respect do you
think
have
it
for
is
your roommate after that?
One.
What a power.
Yeah,
move, right?
I only get an anniversary gift once every 4 years. So
you better stick to that too.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I won't. You won't.
I mean, if you've been married as long as me, I'm averaging about one every 4 years, but we'll save that for the final four. You know what I'm saying? But no, what we wanted to talk about tonight was all of us have histories, and there's nothing more uncomfortable than talking about histories with our significant others. But there's no better place to talk about our histories than on a podcast that our significant others do not listen to. So tonight's episode,
Especially
right?
mine.
Tonight's episode is going to be epic date fails. So I was thinking about this for a while, and I figured that both of you guys would definitely have some things up your sleeve, whether it's the twin or, let's go into the cornucopia of entertainment that's going to come from one Mr. Nails. But I wanted to start off of a story that I wanted to tell you guys for a long time of, have you ever, and this is a question before I get into the story, have you ever been like so into a date that you were way more into the preparation and execution than you were of actually spending time with the person that was on the other side of the date? Have you ever been, especially you, Kevin, as a chef, right?
For sure. I probably a lot of, oh, there's Shadow. Probably a lot of first dates, just because, I'm a chef, so I get really hung up on the food and stuff like that. I used to
like way too focused on the not spending time with the other person part of the day.
Well, and I can remember like if, small little thing that they would have no idea it went wrong, only because I'm a, nitpicky chef. I know that it went wrong, and I'm
like, look at the size of this fucking salad fork.
And I'm just so pissed off the entire time, and that's all I'm focusing on. And they have no fucking clue that it's a problem, and I'm just so pissed off the entire time. That's all I'm focusing on, and yeah, 100%. I had that happen a bunch of times.
I love it. So the one that I thought of that was just awesome that you guys would love is I was a senior in college, and I wasn't even 20. Yeah, I was 21. And so this girl, her name was Alex something. I can't even think of her last name. And
Oh Jesus, man! They're gonna have two
yeah,
of those
well,
names
hey,
on this.
it's gonna be a famous. It's gonna be a
episode.
famous Alex epic date night fails. So she was in a few classes, like art, like different class. Like I went to a liberal arts school, so I had to take a bunch of different classes. So she was in an art class with me and something else with me, and just kind of hit it off. Thought she was cute and attractive, and then I lived in a house off campus, but I went to a small school, so that wasn't a common thing. So like I would say 1% of the population lived off campus, and where I lived right behind the restaurant I worked in. So like you could walk, like I literally could have had the chef cook the entire meal. I could have walked out through my side door and got all the food and brought it back in, which in hindsight, I definitely should have done. So I have Dustin like tell me what I need, everything I need to cook and get together. But I spent all this time dipping strawberries in chocolate and making like the chocolate straw. That's what I remember the most of. I spent so much time doing this in the meal prep and getting the wine prep and all this stuff. And I was 21. She had to be 19, not even 20. And I get this whole meal together, go drive up, pick her up, bring her back down. And you would have thought the awkwardness of the drive would have like set off like how awkward the night was going to be. But so I cooked this huge meal, right? And have the strawberries for dessert. But like the whole time, like I'm so into Kevin, what you're talking about, into the whole executing the meal that I'm really not present in the moment for any of the interaction. And I'll never forget eating those chocolate strawberries and talking to her and like, you were so fucking boring. Like I wasted all this time and effort and you were so fucking boring. And it was, I don't know what you expect out of stuff. Like when that happens, cause like at the end of it, it's like, so we're going to go upstairs and 4 rounds. And like, at this point, I'm like, I don't even want it. Like, I just want to drive you home at this point. So, all that time and effort and preparation.
And then
just
eat the rest of these
like,
strawberries.
and like, I enjoyed the shit out of the meal. And I'm like, I should have just cooked this for myself. I'm a fucking buffoon, right? So
take her home, finish it
roll
yourself.
call Alex, whatever your name is. And that it was a Valentine's Day date too, that I put all this effort into and to no fruition. So swing and a miss.
So
rolled
she
off
was
here.
a dud, or you were
start the turd ball.
I feel like she was the dud, right?
Yeah. So I always wonder, like, you guys have been around me enough to know that I don't like stuff to not go, especially the way that I want it to go. And if it's not going that way, I don't pull the ripcord and quit. I can just keep drilling down. So yeah. Big dud.
You just couldn't pull anything out of her.
No, and it was funny because it got to the end of it. I'll never forget eating those strawberries thinking like, I fucking wasted all this time and effort on you. Where the hell is Shadow the cat when I need her?
Yeah, that's the worst. Just all that effort and the person's completely useless.
I tell you. So along the same lines, I just had one. This was pretty recently, and the deal was she was going to come over to my house and I was going to cook dinner, right? So I'm like, all right, what do you want? Whatever you want, I can make, And she's like, well, I love steak and potatoes. I'm like, perfect, right? And so I was going to make fillets and like twice baked potatoes and like all this other different types of crap, right? So my neighbor Ken was like, hey, next time you go to Costco, let me know. I'll go with you, So I tell him, hey, I'm going to Costco and picking up stuff because I'm cooking dinner for this girl tonight, So we get there or whatnot, and I've got all the stuff. Probably like I've got some stuff for like, the week and the month because it's Costco. And it's probably like, well, it was $250 worth of stuff. It wasn't all for the dinner, right? So like we're walking to
paper
the checkout
towels,
line,
toilet paper. Yeah, I gotcha. Been to Costco.
Houston, we have a problem. So I go to Ken, I show him the text. I go, welcome to online dating, Ken. I guarantee you she is canceling tonight, right? So we go. She doesn't respond. I go, what's the problem, So she doesn't respond back right away. Pay for all the stuff. She goes, oh, my friends, they wanted me to go out tonight, and I forgot that they asked me. I'm like, you motherfucker, I just bought all this fucking shit. I'd be like 9 fillets now that whatever. So I ended up cooking all this stuff, and it was awesome.
Wait, did you cook all the steak or do you freeze them?
Not all the steaks. No, I
That
froze
would
some
have
of
been
them,
awesome if you cooked
but
9
still, like,
fillets.
the point was, like,
9.
you bitch, I cooked 9 fillets.
I hate myself more. These fillets were so
And I
delicious.
couldn't.
Where's my chocolate covered strawberries?
Yeah, I almost bought strawberries to do something like that too, but I didn't. But yeah, the bottom line is the steaks turned out, as Hoff would say, fantastic.
Delectable. Dude,
And that was just a foreshadowing of how that relationship went.
dude, what I love of the welcome to online dating is that I have no experience with that whatsoever. Like, Kev, did you, before you met your wife, did you
Dude,
ever
it
online
is-
date at all?
No, not at all. I mean, my wife and I, we started dating, I guess it was like 7 years ago now. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, never online dated, none of that. Just went to bars and things like
Be
that.
grateful. It's the fucking worst. There's
Buddy, I'm gonna tell
literally
you.
nothing worse.
Dude, I only went on one online date my entire life, and it was through myspace.com. And once
Was
again,
it Tom?
this
I was gonna say, did Tom set you guys
yeah,
up?
I mean, we were both connected to Tom or whatever it was called, liked friends or whatever
6
it was.
degrees
but-
of separation.
So yeah, so this chick went to
Wait a minute, you know Tom too?
he actually follows us on Twitter too, all of us. No, but so I went out with this woman that I went to college with from myspace.com, and we went to Dave and Buster's. And this is the best of, like, I'm a pretty big booze bag, as you know, and like we all had to drive decently far to get there. And she was living in Indiana, so it was like she had a 45-minute drive. She drove all the way out there to go to Dave and Buster's, and she didn't drink at all. And I got pretty banged up when we were there. And I remember like playing basketball, like shooting hoops and bouncing off and fucking knocking my drinks all over the place. And like
Doing shots and shit.
yeah, just hilarious. And,
Aren't you having a great time?
and it was one of those where she was like, yeah, I don't remember you from school. I'm like, yeah, I don't remember much from school. But she's like, yeah, I didn't have a good time there. I'm like, I had the fucking best time there. You know what I mean? Like, so all of it was, yeah,
See how many tickets I got?
I have stories for fucking days, but it was like one of those where at the end of it is like, once again, like I was just trying the online dating thing. And this was another fucking total swing and a miss of where she's like, so, what are you thinking? Like, when do you want to get together the next time? I'm like, there is no next time. And don't message me on MySpace. And if fucking Tom talks to you, tell Tom to fuck off too, because it's not going to work.
And is that when you changed your song on your MySpace page to like
Welcome to the jungle.
whatever? Yeah.
So I gotta ask, MySpace had a dating feature?
No, you could just talk.
Oh, okay.
Like, you
It was
could
just-
talk to people, and it was like, yeah, where people would kind of went from the faking who they were to like actually, I don't know it, because I feel like MySpace was before the Facebook, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the
Yes, it
Facebook
was,
was
yeah.
just for college. Because I remember when my sister first got on the Facebook, it was like you had to have a .edu
Yeah.
to get on there.
Yeah.
And I've never gotten
That's
on
right.
Facebook, so I don't know.
Mail D8443 at robertmorris.edu.
Say that one more
I still
time,
remember that.
loud into the mic.
Mail D 8443 at robertmorris.edu.
I can't
Nice.
remember mine.
1,300 friends later, and every single one of them commented on my thirst trap.
Let's take a 20-second timeout to discuss that. Did you tell Kevin about your Thirst Trap Thursday that you set up?
No, I didn't. I texted Hoffman yesterday. I go, dude, I think I may have posted a thirst trap picture on Thursday. You know, of course he didn't fucking respond because he was in no land or whatnot. So he calls me tonight and he's like, hey, you wanna record tonight? I'm like, I'm not doing anything. And I'm like, hey, did you get that text about me saying I think I may have posted a thirst trap picture? He's like, no, I didn't. I'm like, you responded to my last one. Anyways, so I sent it to him and he goes, dude, shoulders are looking good. I go, it's not even supposed to be a picture of me. It's supposed to be a picture of my son in the background who's in the treadmill.
You gotta send that picture to Kevin because like Nails looks fucking great. I'm like, this is a fucking great.
Was that the Instagram photo?
Oh, did you see that? Yeah, you saw it on Instagram.
Oh yeah, you saw.
I commented on
exactly
it.
what
I commented on it.
Yeah,
Did you say?
Yeah, that's right.
Did you say how thirsty
Yeah.
you were?
No. I said he was putting in work. Yeah, putting the work in.
putting the work in, right? And for the ladies out there, I hadn't even done one set yet. Duke was just 30 seconds on the treadmill, so I figured I'd snap one. So I didn't even get a pump in yet. Humble brag.
The Trust Me I Tell You podcast featuring Chef Kevin King, Huff, and the HRK Jr.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I'm not going to stop on that. I'm stuck on it now. God love it. But before we bring things all the way back into epic date fails, dude, our boys on Lunch Beers, my guy Jared, dude, he so they did a snake draft for their favorite foods for Super Bowl, and my boy Jared, like pick number 2, pulls out fucking bean dip. And Dan, you remember me telling you what my connection to bean dip is? All right, so mark my words right now at 12:21 Eastern on, I guess it's Saturday now. The Bengals will win the Super Bowl because Joel's mom used to make bean dip for us for every tailgate. And Joel would have this bean dip and we would have no chips, no nothing. And this fucking bean dip would get consumed at tailgate somehow, some way, every single, it never got thrown away. It got eaten, the whole thing.
Just the dip.
Bean dip.
Just people two.
No, like somebody would have chips somewhere. We wouldn't bring it, but roll call Jared, my man, my guy, Lunch Beers, bean dip, Bengals Super Bowl. So you heard it here first. When they win, it was all because of that Lunch Beers call it on bean dip. But anyway,
bean dip.
To bring it back, yeah, bean dip. Kev, so you alluded to, and I don't know if you want to get into this or not, but you alluded to some good crazy history before meeting the love of your life. But
while meeting the love of my life.
No way, really?
Oh man, the first Valentine's I took her on, we went to New York, and we were going to New York City.
New York City or New York State?
We were going to New York City. Sure. We were going to on Broadway to watch Lion King and stuff like that. And we both got violently ill the first day of the trip, and we tried to muscle it out. We went through Central Park, and just like every 35 steps, my wife was telling me how awful I was right before I came on here, because I was asking her, I was like, what date stories do we have? And she said I was just she's like you were just awful. Every 30 steps I would just bend over and start dry heaving and tell her how much my stomach hurt. And we even went to this show, and we're both huddled together, sweating in the second row and in the biggest theater on Broadway watching The Lion King. And the actors probably thought we were two drug addicts or something. That our eyes are bloodshot. We're sweating. We're huddled together. We were sweating at the same time. We just looked like absolute disasters.
Did you guys have any heroin backstage at all?
It's basically what it looked like.
Dude, that had to have been so expensive too. So you're like, we're not cutting bait. We are. We are going to Lion King.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit.
I was like, we can do it. We can make it. I was like, it's probably a 24-hour flu. 4 days later on our way home, we're still just halfway home. I'm pulling over on the side of the road to say, I'm pulling over so I can puke in the ditch outside of a prison halfway through New York and stuff like that, through the state and stuff like that. It was just
beautiful country out there.
Oh man,
beautiful country.
There was a street that told us not to pull over or pick up hitchhikers because it was prison territory. I was like,
you're in jail country.
I was like, what is this?
You're in jail country.
A few short years later, one prison inmate saw that puking Canadian at a Buffalo Bills game and chucked French fries at his wife's face.
Yeah.
It was the last thing he ever did.
He got tossed 9 rows into the band, and the tuba players and sousaphone players were never the same. Dude, did I tell you guys that when we were out visiting Placo that we got to watch a one Fletcher Placco's band performances on YouTube for a good 30 minutes. It was awesome. Dude, rocking the Zoozaphone.
Really?
Big time. So I got to ask, I'm glad you brought that up because I've been meaning to ask you guys, did he do your intro? Did he do the Tim Woody intro? I know there was talk about him doing it. Did he do the Tim Woody intro?
There was big talk of him doing it. There was even more big talk out there when we were live in person. Negative. He did not.
No, he didn't do it. Okay, I wasn't sure.
He didn't. Nope. That was recorded live on autotune.samplemusic.com. Yeah.
EDU.
/ MySpace.
The Facebook.
# we know Tom. No. Yes.
All right. You want to hear a good one? This is a good one. This was probably 3.5 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago. But I'm on the line dating, right? And I matched with this girl right around the 4th of July. And I remember I was across the street from my buddy's house, and we were just hanging out at the pool, drinking, or everybody else, we matched or whatnot. And we kind of started talking, and there was like nothing going on that night. So I'm like, hey, you want to go grab a drink tonight? She said, yeah, sure. So we go to, I think it was called Miller's Ale House. I think it's called.
No free ads.
I think she was from, yeah, Iller's Mail House.
It actually sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, started up. So we go to this place, have a few drinks, and like split an appetizer, and like she is like slamming fucking drinks, right? She, I'm drinking Miller Lite at this time, also no free ads, and she's just drinking like booze, and like we really kind of hit it off, but you could tell it wasn't like a really really long date, but there was chemistry, right? So we go out the parking lot, and start making out and stuff like that,
Like in the car, or
yeah. No, not in the car.
He's a classy guy. Come on.
Outside. Yeah, it's like pissing on a tree. You're marking your territory, right? So we decide we're going to go back to my place. So she's following me, right? And then she gets a DUI on the way home.
Tell me you did the classy move and drove home as fast as you could.
Well, because like there's cops there. You're like, well, I'm not sure if I want to be around him, So I drove a block, turned around, pulled a U-turn in the subdivision or whatnot, and then I'm driving back across to see what's going on. And she's outside the car. I'm like, oh God, I know what this chick has fucking drank.
He's drank all the Tito's.
Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Tito. So then, I go back into another subdivision, turn around, and I come back around, and she's still out there talking, So I'm like, I'm going to stick around. So I park on the street, waiting for the flashing lights to stop flashing,
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't. Right. So then she got arrested. I'm like, well, I guess I'll just go home then,
Dude.
Never heard from her again. And I didn't want to even
Never heard from her again.
Dude, I was waiting for that.
Yeah,
so I followed back to the station. I bailed her out, and just one thing led to another. And, we had chemistry. What can I say? It was going to be any state trooper or Barney Fife keeping us apart.
I'll never leave you. I'll never leave you, Rose.
I mean, I can't get a DUI, but it's totally fine if you do.
It's like, man.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's a fucking great story.
That's
okay. That's an entertaining story. It's nothing great or positive about it. But.
Yeah, it's like one of the stories that, because usually all of mine.
Yeah, finally somebody else is the fucking butt of the joke. Fuck you.
Yeah. No, usually I'm the one who's got shit in his face, right? Or puke on his fucking.
Scored one for the Tim Woody squad on that one.
Yeah. I finally
everybody else 1,000. Tim Woody
so
won.
This is one.
All right, so dude, you made. Can we get Kev? Can we get into it? You made mention of the twin, and this had some overlap with your wife. Can we get into this or no?
Sounds like.
If not, don't worry. Nails has more.
Let's turn that one over. Let's turn it over to Nails.
All right. Dan, not to totally put you on the spot, but I did have a good one where, and I told you I don't want to turn this podcast into every other podcast on the fucking internet. But in high school, I don't know why. Like it was me and my buddies' things of like to really always talk about how much we masturbated or fed the ducks or fed.
I remember this.
Yeah. So I was dating this chick.
First of all, I love how we're season 4, episode 6, and the word masturbated has entered
The lexicon.
It's here.
Yes,
podcast.
yes, it has. It is.
Is now in the same
No
element
longer
as
feeding
feeding
the duck.
God, I hope not. All right, so we were notorious for always very vocally admitting to
Episode
feeding
title.
because, like, I feel like up until the '90s, that was like, oh no one has ever done that in the history of the world. So like, we thought we could break the fourth wall and get like even chicks to talk about like how often they jill off or whatever you want to call it. And here we are, a place I didn't even want to be, and I got us here. But you're welcome. All right, so.
And this episode was your idea.
I didn't even want to talk about this. I just segue. Yeah, have this one locked and loaded. God bless it.
You mean Segu?
So we go over. I was dating this chick named Laura. I don't remember what her last name is. Roll call Laura. And at the time, we were notorious for being the Bash Brothers, so to speak, the crew. So when I was dating her, I was over her house one Sunday, and I remember I was working out a bunch, so I was drinking a ton of water, and I must have went to the bathroom 47 times.
I was drinking a ton of water.
That's not even
We were watching a porn.
that was
I
not even a
drinking lot of
euphemism
water.
for anything, but like I had to go to the bathroom a bunch, and it was so funny that it was early on in us dating, and all of her friends, like the next Monday at school, were like, you guys are you and your friends are unbelievable. And I'm like, yeah, we're pretty great. Like, no, you guys are out of control with this whole thing. Like, you were over her house and you were in the bathroom the whole time jerking off. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? And that's the story that went around school is when I was over there, when I was pissing a ton of times, I was in her bathroom feeding the
Just
ducks.
feeding the ducks
The
over and
whole
over
time
again.
I
Feeding
was
the
there.
ducks.
And I started thinking about it. I'm like, I figuratively went to the bathroom 7 times when I was over there, like in a 3-hour time span. But if anyone's out been drinking beers with me, or Dan,
Or me.
the Tim Lee crew.
Yeah, you
Like,
and I are in the same
And
list.
by the
We're
way,
drinking
roll
beers.
call Uncle Terry, because we went to the Xavier basketball game tonight. We started drinking some beers, and I was spending half the game in the bathroom. I mean, it's like you and me at the Masters.
Yeah, it's
I'm,
like
I'm right.
water.
I'm
Thank
right
God
there
you guys
with you
are
guys. I'm right there with you guys. I'm every 15. Once it starts, it's every 15 minutes.
So this guy, just love you, your family. Just don't admit to doing things that could get you, because I'm like, and then I start getting in my own head of like, maybe I fucking should have. This is bullshit. If this is going to get hung on me, I'm fucking doing it next time. I didn't, thank God. But anyway, enough of that nonsense talk. Let's get back to some good stuff.
The prequel of that story. The prequel of that story, real quick, is I would love to be a fly in the wall when you and your buddies were like, you know what we should start talking about, like publicly, feeding the ducks. We should
Lean
really
in.
like
Just
take this to the next level. Let's let them.
By the way, this conversation did take place, and the whole crux of it is that like, if we can get in front of this, maybe we can get them to be talking about it. And that was like the whole idea. Like,
you guys
Yeah,
were
what
just
a
trying to
bunch
make
of
it
dumb
cool. You
assholes.
guys are trying to make it cool and just normal to talk about it.
Wait a minute, you guys don't?
Yeah, I'd like to get them talking about it, like, because what's going to happen. We get a whole group of them talking about it. And next thing you know, we're in the middle of an orgy, and it's like, boom, that's how porn's happen. It's like,
And the reality is, they start talking about it. You're back in the bathroom taking a
Yeah.
quote unquote whiz.
yep, 7 times. I remember I used to be able to go
Yeah.
7 times. I mean, anyhow, Dan, bring us back. Let's go. Let's get some good news here.
So I've got a couple of stories. I've got 3 more stories. I'm not sure if they're worthy of telling.
As
how
much as you
time we
want.
got left here, fellas.
Keep it rolling.
All right,
I got a
yeah,
couple
so
of
we got
stories
some time.
too.
All right, so I'll give you one. This one's near and dear, and I'm not. The past is the past, but this is like the second ultimate fail, right? So you talk about dating people, right? Talk about dating people, and like you invest your time and energy into these people, right? So I'm dating this one girl, on and off for a while. And I know Hoff thinks this is going one way, but it's going to go a different way. He knows the story to be anyways, but this is not the story you're thinking of, Hoff. My biggest fail was like investing all this time and energy, like buying a house for this woman, her child, and then I had a child with this woman. We move in, help raise her child and my child, and then all of a sudden, this one is like living a whole separate life. Like this is like Lifetime movie stuff. And then I've got to go. Then it gets broken to me, right? So the bottom line is, so I have like, I don't want to say it's a gigantic house because it's not. But the dating fail is like investing all this time, energy, money into all this stuff. And now a house that you could fit comfortably like 5 to 6
Sure.
people in. There's 2 people. There's 2 people living in this house now. And it's like, well, what are you going to do or whatnot, right? So the fail for me was like believing in like the whole life and dream and stuff like that. And then you're stuck with it, right? And it all turned out, for the best or whatnot. But I think that's probably like one of my biggest fails was getting into it, being, we'll call it lied to or whatnot. But, you win some, you lose some. But that's a big one too.
I'm going to say you won some on this one. By the way, I don't think,
I would agree.
Not everybody's got a podcast studio, a BC, and still multiple rooms after that. So, just saying, winning.
I mean, we don't even use some of these
right?
rooms.
It's like fucking when Charlie Sheen and the crew comes over, we are just winning here in Oswego, Illinois.
Man.
All right, Kev, you got one locked and loaded before I keep pushing you into things we don't want to talk about as I brought myself into somewhere I didn't want the podcast to go to, but
yeah, I got a couple. Neither of them are super long stories or anything like that, but I dated this one girl. We had only been out a couple times and stuff like that, and it was coming up to my birthday. So she's like, okay, well, I'll take you out for your birthday. So I said, I was like, okay, that's great. She got Jays tickets for us to go to the Blue Jays game. And then on my birthday, this is like the 3rd or 4th time we had gone out. This girl she was so dramatic and such a pain in the ass getting ready. We showed up. It's the bottom of the 7th inning by the time we get to the fucking game.
We missed the 7th inning stretch.
We missed the 7th inning stretch. We get there, bottom of the 7th inning. I was just like, and it's in Toronto. We're from 45 minutes away from Toronto. We took a train into Toronto and stuff like that. So from the bottom of the 7th inning until, through the entire rest of the game, all the way on the train home, I was just like, I can't wait to get this girl out of here.
Tell me you went to extra innings.
No, it didn't. No, that
It's like the longest baseball game ever. She's like, I told you, Kevin.
No.
It went 19 innings. I told you I needed to be ready.
I got us here.
By the time we showed up, the Jays were down like 14-2 or something like that. And it was just, she couldn't have picked a worse game to go to as well. The only thing I can remember is we were like right behind the dugout, and Frank Thomas was on the Jays at the time, and he walked out, and
big hurt.
The big hurt. Oh my God, he is the big. His legs were as big as I was at the time. I was like, my God, this is a huge man.
I dated a girl for 4 dates that her best friend is married to the big
Get
man.
out of
That's
here.
awesome.
I'm not going anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta find out from her what's going on with that fucking testosterone, if that shit's legit or not, right?
It's easy. You got to text this. I love how intense he gets when he says, how do I get it? It's easy.
what did Abby say? Oh, Frank.
Oh, come on, Frank.
So good.
But she'll like it too. Oh,
Hey, Kevin, pick me up though. Give me a glass half full on the way back. Did you stop into Worst? Get yourself fucking some sausages and some cocktails?
I couldn't even put up with her that long. I had to get her out of there. I think I went and got some food. I dropped her off and then went and got food myself.
Sometimes that's the best part.
Yeah.
Oh my God, bottom of the 7th
You
inning,
guys-
dude.
you guys
That's
ever
fucking
go-
painful.
I was like, as soon as we showed up and saw it was bottom of 7th inning, I was like, I'm done.
Good thing it was the cheap seats too.
Yeah. Glad she paid.
You guys ever go on a date, like a first date, and then the date ends up hooking up with somebody else?
What?
I haven't. No, have you? I mean, now I'm curious. What's the story behind this question?
No, I mean, no, I'm not that big of a loser. But no, I've had a buddy, and by like hooked up with somebody else, like their ex was there, and they just like gravitated towards this other person. It was very, very
Wait, you
odd.
witnessed it?
And it was like,
Oh,
oh yeah. So it didn't happen to me. So I can't like tell the good story, like, and then I did this, and I fought this guy, and I beat him up, and I threw him over. There's nothing like that. But like, yeah, we're out on a date. Her ex-boyfriend was there, and they rekindled their love. And then our buddy was just, who's buying me drinks for the rest of the night?
He was?
That
Oh,
old
Nails. God.
No, I was buying drinks for the rest of the night. Yeah, of course.
Kevin's
man.
roommate.
A lover's
Kevin's
scorn?
roommate
You got it.
always coming through in the clutch.
there you go. Man, that's rough.
God love
That's
it.
that's a rough situation, though.
That I tell you, I've got worse than that.
All right.
I
Hey,
tell you right
we
now,
got
I've
time for
worse
one
than
more
that.
each if you want to lay on the worst.
I got one more short one.
I'm feeling pretty good about myself after those two. But
I got
Holy
one
moly.
more short one that
I
only
have a-
because the date ended real quick. My buddy's like, oh man, I got this girl that you would totally hit it off with. You know, you'd love her. She's awesome. She's perfect for you. So I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I can't wait to meet this girl. So I'm excited about it for like a week, right? And I show up and it's my brother's prom date from high school. So I was like, all right. And I knew her, like, and she knew who I was. Like immediately we looked at each other. I was like, all right, so how's it going, Emily?
this is a blind date.
The blind date. I hadn't like my buddy. This is my best friend, the best man at my wedding. You know, this guy. He's my best.
Tell me you tell the story at the wedding.
He didn't. No. But I couldn't believe it. I was like, dude, how did you not know this is my brother's prom date from high school? So that ended.
Great
quick.
taste. I don't know.
Yeah, that ended real quick.
And then you married her.
No, that ended real quick. That I said hi to her and I said, "Well, you have a good one." And
So you didn't even go on the date?
no, I think we had a drink and just like talked because like I knew this girl, and like
Because you're like, hey, your picture.
yeah, exactly. There's a picture
I watched.
of you with a flower in your hair and wearing a high school prom dress sitting on my mantle.
My buddy Hoff, he was feeding the ducks. in the picture.
My brother was wearing my jacket. It was 3 sizes too big. I recognize you.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
that's awesome.
I think he used my car to go to prom.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, that needless to say that date was very short lived, and we went our separate ways.
All right, listeners, if you can top our date fails, I feel like Nails has got one locked and loaded to bring the house down. Just don't take us all the way down, Dan. But listeners, if you got one, send it to us on Twitter. Send us your date fails.
Yeah, or Instagram. Send us somewhere. Get in touch with. So I've got one quick one. This is back in the My Boss 3 days. So AIM. So me and my buddy John, we started talking to these chicks who went to Mother Macaulay. So like if you went to a Catholic school, like an all guys school, like we did, it was like, oh my God, girls are talking. Let's check it out, right? They're like, yeah, let's meet up at the Chicago Ridge Mall. So they're like, we'll be sitting right outside where the movie theaters of this mall. So John, I think I'm 15, so I couldn't drive. John's driving, and we're pulling up, and we see these girls.
Great setup, by the way. Great setup.
He's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I go, dude. He goes, don't even fucking stop, dude. Don't stop. Just go. So he like hits the gas, and then they see us. You know, it's like two guys in a shitbox fucking car. They know it's us, and they're like waving at us. I'm like, don't look. So that was like a day fail. It's like, oh, I thought only Catholic girls were like really beautiful.
So they saw you. You
guys
just drove
make eye
off.
contact?
No questions asked.
Yeah.
Was there eye contact?
What's that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was eye contact. They knew.
They
Exactly
knew you
who we
saw
were.
them?
Yeah, it was not my proudest moment.
Dude, no matter how short, no matter how long, all the stories involving John are always fucking the pinnacle of entertainment.
I'm telling you, it's yeah. He was a great. He's an awesome wingman. And he could
Yeah.
drive too. So, all right. So my biggest
Yes.
date fail ever. This is the epic. This is the epitome of date failing. So it all starts with online dating. So me and this girl, Shmalix Mangia. So we go out and have a pretty good night, right? We end up like smooching a little bit. Date gets over. Ghost me, right? So I've been ghosted. Fast forward, we'll call it 6-7 months. Actually, it was like my birthday. I'm coaching my kids' baseball team.
Forgot
Her kid
about
is playing
this,
the
yes.
game after ours, right? Yeah, right. So game gets over. I see her. Actually, I saw her at pictures, actually. And my buddy Ken, who I'm coaching with, I'm talking to him. I'm like, hey, dude, remember that chick I was telling
Dude,
you
I
about?
love when you do the
That was
mouth
my
thing.
lips, so she
Hey,
can't-
guy.
Yeah. I was like, hey, dude, there's this girl that I went on this date with. She's right behind you.
Kevin, season
He
5, we're
looks
getting
around,
him a
he goes,
ventriloquist
"That?"
dummy.
Yeah, he goes, that went on a date with you. I go, I know, I can't believe it either. She's beautiful, right? And I'm like, fuck, her kid's in this goddamn league. Son of a bitch, right? So a couple weeks goes on. Her team is playing right after ours, and I'm like coaching or whatnot. So I end up going to the gas station, getting gas, and she texts me. And I'm like, and she goes, is that you coaching your son's baseball team or whatnot? And obviously my response was, if you're talking about the world champion Oswego Defenders, then yeah, that was me. So we start talking again. We go out and we start dating for a while, break up, get back together. I don't know, fucking October, break up again, get back together in December, break up, and then get back again like in March, right? So we're dating, do all this fun stuff. And then in May, we break up again. On the same day that we broke up, a fucking huge storm. I have to take her to lunch in downtown Aurora at this Mexican joint. And while this is going on, we have a $75 lunch. I come home and hailstorms fucking completely destroyed the siding on my house.
Forgot about this.
So I'm like, what a day. What a day. The streets flooded. I have no siding. It's like, what a day. So I signed up to coach the kids in baseball, and I made sure that her son was on my team so I could coach her or whatnot. And I'm also coaching with her son's dad. Fast forward maybe 2 weeks. Again, we're broken up. She gives me a call on a Friday afternoon. I'll never forget it. I'm eating an Arby's beef and cheddar sandwich on the couch.
We have the meats. No free ads.
She says, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, well, this fucking sandwich is now fucking useless to me. I have no appetite whatsoever, right? This is actually in June. This is in June. And, we go through the stuff. I'm like, well, I'll be there. It is what it is. This is obviously not ideal, but we'll fucking deal with it. So I think it was the next day.
Yep.
I meet up with you, Chris.
Yes, it was the
We're
next
at the
day.
Brown concert, and I'm like, I can't believe this, man. I got to tell you something, and I fucking unloaded this thing on him, and I get completely wrecked that night. Absolutely.
Drank beers through our shirts that night, by the way.
So, oh yeah,
I don't
I was
blame
drinking
you.
beers through my shirts, taking pictures of people. People from that big restaurant were there, and like people were like, "Don't go
Dude,
over there."
the
Don't
best
talk.
is like, we love you guys. We want you guys to be our people. Like, yeah, we're pretty fucking awesome. We'll keep that account nameless, but they wanted a piece of the white hen, the Danimal, and the hop after that.
So the next day, I get in trouble because I told her that I was like, "Hey, if you want me to pick up your dog, I'll pick up your dog," because her dog was like crapping all over the house or whatnot. And she never responded. So I was like, "Hey, I'm going to the store. We're going to my mom's house because we're going to tell my mom that we're having a baby together, right?" And I didn't tell my mom that I wanted to tell her face to face. So she's like, can't believe you're asking me what I want from the goddamn grocery store when you told me you were going to pick up this dog. So like, we're already like yelling and screaming at each other.
This is
she's
going
yelling
great.
and screaming. I'm pretty much just fucking taking it. Yeah, I'm just fucking taking it, right? Like, who's going to argue with a pregnant woman, right? So we end up driving separate cars to my mom's house. And she's like, no, if your mom's fucking yelling at me, I'm fucking leaving. So I had to drive her dog, my kid, and her kid down to the lake while she just followed us. Got down there, told my mom, everything'll be okay. It's fine. It was a fine weekend. Come back. All of a sudden, like the winds change, where she is now like, you got to pay for this, you got to pay for that, you got to pay for this. I need cash for this, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I was supposed to pay this woman's mortgage. She's like, well, I can't pay my mortgage. You got to pay my mortgage, you know? So I didn't because, I mean, I already had 2 at the time. And she wants me to pay hers too, which is equally as big as the one I have in my.
I'm a thousandaire. Of course, I could just pay random people's mortgages.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I have a 401k.
I could cash that out with a massive penalty, but I'll do that right now.
Yeah. So, then I'm supposed to go to Hawaii, right, for work. And I'm taking Duke with, and now this one is pissed off that I didn't ask her to come.
Oh, this is the whole thing. The whole thing.
I initially did, but then she broke up with me, and then we got back together. And by the time we got back together, it was too late to like just add you on. Yeah, I can't just add you on here. It doesn't work like that, right? Like, you know, it is what it is. So then she's like giving me shit about this, like, oh, you're going on vacation, you didn't ask me. I'm like, we're not even together.
There was plenty of room on the sectional couch for her to sleep. If I would have slept in my own bed,
and I'm
instead of sleeping with you.
Oh, and I'm sure she would have loved. I'm sure she would have loved the fact that
I would have let her sleep with Kristen every night in the room. Let me tell you how much I hate Dan. Let me tell you how much I hate Chris. They were so drunk right now. They want to run. They got lost, and they were gone for half the day.
Yeah. So
Chris and Dan both know how to play the ukulele when they got back. They were gone so long.
So I end up giving this chick a bunch of cash, like $1,000 worth of cash right before I go to Hawaii. We go to Hawaii, come back, and she is like furious with me. And I've done nothing wrong, right? So she ends up texting me one day. She goes, hey, I have no money and I'm getting the wallpaper done in my house. And since you haven't said or contributed anything to this, it'd be nice if you could brought a case of yada, 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 blah, blah, blah over to help me pay for this stuff. I'm like, you know what? It's an olive branch. I'll bring a case of this over and I'll move this table so this person can lay your wallpaper. I'm not sure why you're doing wallpaper. If you have no money, I don't know why you're.
And to be fair, she's doing wallpaper yet has no carpet or finish on her stairs at this time.
Well, that happened the day we broke up. She ripped up all her fucking carpet on the stairs and was like, what am I supposed to do?
Step on nails, duh. Like rip your carpet up, step on nails. It's what everybody does. Clearly.
She was already stepping on nails.
Not even figuratively.
See what I did there? See what I did there?
It's all that big time. See, Tushy Bidet, if you were a sponsor, you would be a part of this.
We should call her. We should call her the Hammer. So I go over there and I bring a case of the stuff over and we move this table. And she like runs into the kitchen. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll see you later. I thought I was like doing something nice to open up like an even communication line. She wasn't having it. So I walk to the house, walk over back to the front door, and she comes yelling at me. I'm not doing this every month. I go, every month? It's been a month. It's been a month. And I've given you all this money. I've done this stuff. And I go, Mike, the way you talk to me, the way you treat me, it's completely ridiculous, uncalled for, yada, yada, blah. I go, unless you want to have a civil conversation with me, I have nothing to say to you. And I walk out the door. And I called my mom, like, hey, here's, just so you know, here's what happened. Like, I'm done with this, And as I'm talking to her, I get a text from this chick. And it says something to the effect of, like, you run your mouth and talk your shit and run away like a pussy. It's too bad that your dad's not here to see how.
Dude, it was the dirtiest, rottenest thing ever.
I'm sure he'd be ashamed, And I was on the phone with my mom, and my mom goes, oh my God, this woman is the devil. And then this chick decides to Facebook message every single one of my friends that she knows. She Facebook messages my mom and my sister. And I hadn't told my sister about the baby yet. So my sister calls me, and I don't answer. And she texts me, call me back. I go, I'm working. Is it an emergency? She goes, no, but you have an emergency. I'm like, oh, Christ. He goes, yeah, Alexandria's texting me. You guys are having a baby? I'm like, oh my God, what is this woman doing, right? So now we're not speaking. we end up going to work.
I am riveted right
We
now
end up
by
going
this
to a
story.
work
By the
trip.
way, I am just riveted by this. This is just
Welcome to my
incredible.
life. So we end up going to I think we were in Texas. We were in Houston. And she ended up having the baby. So my buddy Ken,
We were in
he,
Texas,
like,
yeah.
calls me. He goes, "Hey," and as soon as he calls me, I know the news he has because he could see her on Instagram. I was blocked from everything. He goes, "Hey, she had the baby, and it's a girl. So congratulations." I'm like, "Oh my god, a fucking girl! This is insane!" You know. So I look at the pictures, and then I was putting some other things together, and I thought it was somebody else's kid or whatnot, and I was obviously like retarded, hard all
Great
hard
catch.
hard the
Great
whole
catch.
trip. Yeah. And I was like, "Hey, doesn't look like this guy. Look at these features or whatnot." So I get back and I call my lawyer and like, we're gonna go to court. And she texted me. I remember I was in that corner over there of the office. That's before I redid the podcast studio. She texted me, and as soon as I saw her name on my phone, my stomach dropped. I was like, "Oh, frick. I hate having to talk to this woman." And now she's yelling at me right at the gate, you know. And we got into it. I'm like, "Listen, I'm going to send the baby this, all whatever she needs. I'll send." I had already bought like a crib, a dresser, changing tables, diaper, anything you need for the house. Like, thank God I've already had a child because I know exactly what you need, right? So I finally go meet the baby. Beautiful little girl. Me and Duke go over there, and then her son is like, "You can't call her this. You can't call her that." I'm like, "Listen, dude, this is my daughter. I will call her whatever the fuck I want." You know, I'm not going to get bossed around by a 9-year-old here, you know? So I got like scheduled days to go hang out with this beautiful little girl or whatnot. And then this is like during COVID, right? So my mom is like, "You know what? Screw this. I don't care about these protocols. I'm coming up there. I'm going to meet my granddaughter." So in the meantime, we were going back and forth like, you know, I needed my name on the birth certificate because I had to insure this little baby, right? And like, you talk about an embarrassing phone calls talking to your benefits coordinator. "Hey, got a new one. All right, just send over the birth certificate." I go, "Well, here's the funny thing. My name's not on it." "Well, can you, how do you do it?" Like, I don't know. That's why I'm talking to you. I need an answer here, you know? So I call her and I say, "My name has to be on the birth certificate and her last name has to be mine. Non-negotiable." She goes, "That's fine." And I go, "This could have been completely avoided if you would have just let me be there, which I wanted to be, but that's not the case." And then I got to thinking, that was awfully easy.
It's the
That was
only easy
awfully
thing that's
easy
happened
to
thus
have.
far. What the fuck?
The only easy thing in the world, because it gets me to have to pay more money and stuff like that. So then I got to thinking myself, I'm going to go investigate this thing. So I said, "Hey, I've got a meeting at noon on Friday. After that, I am wide open. I'd love to spend time with her the whole weekend. Just let me know when I can." She goes, "You can come over Saturday and I'll leave the house. I'm going to go out, do all this other stuff." I'm like, "Perfect." So I went to Walgreens. I got a paternity test and I went over there in my back pocket. She left and I swabbed her cheeks. I swabbed mine before I went. Then she came back and I sent him in. Meanwhile, my mom's driving up to go meet her granddaughter. And on the day my mom gets her, it's a Thursday, we got to pick up this little baby girl and her son from daycare. And my mom knows her son and whatnot. So, because we've dated for a while. So we go back to the house and, you know, my mom is like hanging out with her. And this girl is not here yet. She's still working. That's why I was picking up the girl. I could only hang out with her at her house. So she finally comes back. I'm going to do a little bit of work. And then my realtor calls. Also a date fail. That's for another.
You dated your realtor?
So she calls me.
Nope.
No, it's a date fail.
All right.
It's a date fail. So I go to the garage and I take the phone call because I'm like trying to get a new tenant. Hang up. And all of a sudden, an email comes through, and it's the paternity test results. And it says, basically, you were.
So it wasn't even an email.
And
Maury
then
I was going to say, did Maury call?
Yeah, right. All kidding aside, but yes,
So
celebration.
and it says that I am excluded as the father. And like my watch goes off, like, do you need to call an ambulance because your heart rate is like through the roof right now, through the roof. So I go back inside and like I can't even talk, right? My mom's just like, beep, 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 beep. Well, the baby, I'm like, oh my God, oh fuck, what did I just do? So the lady comes down. We get the baby back and I give her a real big, because I had already fallen in love with this little girl.
For sure.
You know what I mean? This was June. She was born in January. So we ended up leaving her whatnot. And I go, so what'd you think, Mom? Because she's a beautiful little girl. I go, well,
Last time you ever see her.
according to this, she's not mine. She's like, that fucking bitch.
To be fair, she's just a
So we
baby.
had
I
to
mean,
do
your
an-
mom didn't need to be that mean.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
So,
Oh my God. Wow.
Yep.
How'd you confront her about
So-
this? How'd you
so
confront her about
that
that? Like,
was-
how did that conversation go?
So that was on a Thursday. She told me, she's like, so she had a boyfriend. That was
Oh my
also
God.
one of the Valentine's Day fails. Not Valentine, but like I would call it a day fail. So for Mother's Day, I bought her a bouquet of flowers for Mother's Day from the baby and her son. It's like, hey, thanks for being her mom. You're the best or whatnot. Because I do that for Duke's mom too. I always get her Christmas presents, birthday presents. It's his mom, right? And she's not my enemy. And the flowers came when I was there. And she goes, did you give me flowers? I'm like, this was like on a Thursday. I'm like, these weren't supposed to show up till fucking Sunday. What the fuck, right? So she puts them on like the island. And she's dating, she's got a 3-month-old and she's dating some guy already. So I come back like, I don't know, the next Tuesday. And obviously this new boyfriend saw the flowers that I got her. He got the biggest, most gigantic bouquet of flowers. I'm like, dude, we are not in competition, buddy. Like, I don't want
She's
anything to do with
yours.
this fucking
She's
thing.
yours.
It's
She's
so
all yours.
good.
She is all yours, brother. Yeah. If you're lucky, she'll take all your money too.
My God.
So yeah, that was that's probably the biggest dating fail, because like that, she was one I like, refused to let go of, and then it was just like, oh, you're successful, and then I found out who the dad was.
Rory Markham?
No, she
That
wishes.
would only be too fitting if it was Rory
Yeah, this
Markham
guy's a
too.
fucking-
Great callback, by
He's
the
a
way.
fucking dud.
Wow.
Yeah.
We should have had.
Which also made me feel terrible myself. I'm like, man, you slept with this guy? He is horrible. Horrible. You must have had like 6 shots of Malorts to let this guy fucking Hoffman inside you. Jesus Christ.
I guess that's the thing now. I don't know how I had to get drug into this, but crime in Italy. Dude, the best is he's telling the story about who this guy is, and yeah, he's this fucking loser, and he's like badmouthing this guy, and I'm like letting Dan have his moment. I'm like, dude, can you lay off the fucking guy for a minute? He's gonna have a fucking terrible go of it from here on out.
I
Like,
remember that.
yeah, take it easy on him. He's about to have a fucking terrible road ahead.
My God.
So this guy called me. Yeah, this guy called me.
The real father?
And he's like, hey, man, the real father. Yeah. And he's like, hey, just so you know, he's like, are you going through like a paternity battle with this chick? I'm like, who are you? He's like, well, I'm somebody she's trying to say is the father. I'm like, well, why don't you give me a call? We'll talk, right? So and I'm like, hey, here's the deal, dude. I already took a test. It's not mine, but I got to take a quarter one because she thinks I took a Walmart test or whatnot.
Wrong.
So, like, I had talked to this guy on the phone. Yeah, I talked to this guy on the phone. I'm like, oh my God, you are like a fucking bag of goddamn hammers, man.
That was-
I can't
that was-
believe.
Literally the term that you used for him. When you told me who this guy was.
Yeah, he was a bag of
hammers.
hammers, man. I mean, he was a fucking. And I mean, again, I'm never ever been accused of being the sharpest tool in the shed, but this guy was like, he couldn't. If I asked him what 2 + 2 was, he'd probably give me 7. That's how this guy was, right? And he's like, it's not mine. I'm like, well, you said this happened then. The math really lines up. And then how I found out officially, because she refused to take this test for the longest time. He ends up taking the test, and he got the results before I did. And you want to know how I found out? He sent me a Maury Povich meme that says, you are not the father. And then he texts me, however, comma, I am.
Wow.
And that's why he's gonna be on the podcast next week. We love this guy. Great sense of humor.
If we can find him, I can only imagine the hell
my
she's
God, this
putting
poor
him
son of
through.
a-
My God.
Oh, that's exactly right. This poor bastard. He probably doesn't even
There's
see
no
it.
way.
Your roommate probably never shared.
There's no
Sure,
way
your
anyone's
roommate
beating
probably
that
never
story.
shared that
However,
story.
I am.
There's no way anyone's beating. There's no way anyone's
What's that?
beating that story on Twitter or Instagram or anything. That's
So when I talk about this story, it really kind of goes back to my final 4 things I've stolen, and that's probably why all this shit happens to me.
karma.
To be fair, dude, this is not your fault. This is you fall in love with beautiful women, and that scale of crazy to be. Yeah,
I do. It's
yeah,
my
it
my
is.
curse.
It is,
My curse.
so.
The new prerequisite is like, do you want to date this guy? Yeah, sure. All right. Are you willing to treat him like shit? Because that is what
That's the standard.
he needs to be
You gotta
treated like
you
shit.
Stepping on nails.
I
I already wrote that.
Go.
I already
Stepping
wrote
on
that down
nails.
is the episode title. But on that note,
My God.
what time is it?
It's time for the final 4. This week's Final Four is brought to you by GoalieParts.com. GoalieParts.com is here for you, the goalie. It is run and owned by goalies, and it's for goalies. It's GoalieParts.com's mission to provide you with the tools you need to perform at the highest of levels. They carry everything you need from helmets and cages all the way down to straps and clips. And they don't stop there either. They are always looking for new quality products that will help you play and look your best. The GoalieParts.com guarantee, if they won't use it, they won't sell it. So go say hi to our buddy Dennis over at GoalieParts.com, located inside the Echo Pro Shop and the Darien Sportsplex. And if you're looking for some Tim Whitty merch, our buddy Dennis is all over it at GoalieParts.com. He hooked us up with some serious swag, and our listeners can now show off their Tim Whitty love by going to trustme.itemorder.com. We got shirts, hats, beanies, hoodies, jackets, and beer holders, folks. Go over to trustme.itemorder.com and pick up some swag. I just ran over 4 miles yesterday morning with my pink Tim Whitty safety
hat.
Safety hat.
Yeah,
So
do
go
it.
check it out. Safety hat. That's right, with the snowball. On top.
I'm wearing the camo hoodie. We are waiting to you
Can't even see you. You're so camouflaged.
I'm so much lighter and so much more invisible. You can't even see me here these days.
Yeah, you lost 14
This
pounds.
is the last time we've been on this
Like a
podcast.
String bean.
14 pounds lighter. But Dennis, we love you. We thank you. We're going to send out a bunch more to the Tim Whitty family here shortly. But it's happening. And yeah, dude, we love you.
We saw some swag in Nashville.
We did,
tonight,
dude.
too.
If anyone's in Tennessee, when you hear this, when you see our one favorite family member, the Double D, give him a hug, make him an offer he can't refuse, and give some love to the Tim Whitty podcast. This week's Final Four is Final Four best Valentine's Day gifts ever, theoretical or real. So I'm going to lead us off this week with my number 4, a place I've never been in my entire life, but I feel like a great Valentine's Day gift. So, honey, if you're listening, a trip to Paris is my number 4, because you know what they say, Paris is for lovers. That's my number 4.
Sure is.
Number 3, an upgraded diamond. So I don't know about you guys, but I didn't buy the biggest rock for my wife ever, but I feel like a good, and I haven't done this. All these are theoretical, by the way, on my list. The number 3 would be a big, huge, giant rock to replace the initial one on my wife's wedding ring. So she loves the design, but I think she would like the bigger one because, as I've always been told, bigger is better. What's your question, Dan?
Matters.
If you upgrade the rock, what do you do with the previous rock? Do they buy it back from you?
I mean, I don't know what they do. I mean, you could do that, but I'm kind of thinking when I do this,
First of all, who's they?
the Chinese, obviously, are overlords. Yeah.
Obviously,
They
okay.
can- yeah, they
So
control
we're on
everything,
the same
so,
page.
yeah.
Thank you.
If they had podcasts in like the 50s, it probably would have been like, obviously, the Jews. But we know we're down with them, so yeah. Anyway, all kidding aside,
Down with them.
a diamond replacement, but I want to keep that diamond because this diamond ring doesn't shine for you. Anyway, number 2, this was a big thing that my wife has never gotten me ever, because she says this puts your relationship on the clock. But I still think it's a great gift as a watch. So she'll never get me a watch. She's never bought me a watch. She never will, because she says it puts the relationship on the clock, which I think is, it's cool. A woman's got to live by a standard.
Yeah.
I like how you went a male gift. That's I like it.
Yeah.
Local.
So I think in my number 1 is, I love how yeah. Anyway, the number 1 would be a second house. Like how money, cause we all want a second home. Well, some of us,
Bro, that's not a Valentine's Day gift. That's a
it
fucking
is.
power.
It is a power move. But like, how cool would that be to give somebody a second house, like somewhere awesome, of like, you know what I got you, and like
So
just
cool.
make it work out on the calendar to be Valentine's Day. Well, also because if you do that, you're kind of the furthest way away from valuation. If they raise your taxes, it's not a bad deal all the way around if you buy it in January for February, right? So.
You romantic son of a bitch. I feel you've gone like way bigger and way better than I
went all
ever could.
I went
Again,
all
I'm not
theoretical.
married. So
What did I tell you? Like I always do
I
these.
mean,
I always do on
did
these Final
too.
Fours. Some things that I either think is going to happen, is going to wish going to happen. Just wishing into reality, right? So.
All right, so I've got a bubble team, and this is I'm stealing one. I think I've told you this on the podcast before. My buddy Billy, he every year he takes his
Yeah,
wife
yeah,
to
that's
White
awesome.
Castles on Valentine's Day, right? And they do white
That's-
tablecloth, and they do candles. It's like their thing, right? So
I think you mentioned that on the podcast one time, and it actually, I meant to ask you guys about it. Have you guys seen the KFC proposal? And some guy proposed to his wife in KFC, and that people were roasting him on social media. So KFC was like, fuck the haters, we'll pay for his wedding in a KFC. And then Audi was like, he's going to need someone to drive him there, and like gave him a free Audi, and like all these companies piled on after he did that because he proposed to his wife in a KFC.
Can we give some love to Yum Brands?
This is why I'm so GD dumb. Yeah, come on, Yum Brands. All right, so my number 4, and again, mine is going to be like probably in the exact opposite order of yours in terms of finances. Mine is more like of the romance.
Yes,
I'm
you
a
are.
romantic son of a bitch. I really
I
am.
feel
am
that.
an
I
old
sense
guy.
that from you. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's because we're roommates.
You see all the letters he writes.
I mean, you see it every day. You see it every day.
Leaves me messages on the fridge.
That's a go-to move of mine. Actually, I leave them on the
I'm
nightstand.
sticky notes on the mirror.
So like, if Valentine's Day falls on Valentine's Day falls on like a long weekend, like a really cool fucking trip, whether it's like to wine country, Bora Bora, if you're a fucking gazillionaire, like talk about that's like a high roller power move Valentine's Day present, right? Yeah, got to get that dirt off your shoulders, right? So that's my number 4. Number 3, because I'm a single guy, an engagement ring.
yeah.
I feel like that would be like, ooh, shit. Like it's the same type of thing as upgrading your rock, right church, wrong
sure.
view, but that's my number 3. My number 2, this is where we get into the old romantic nails here. You guys ready? Strap it in tight. Hold on for dear life, because I'm about to make you look like a couple of dinguses. Number 2, naming a star after your lady. Like, so every time you can look up at the stars, be like, hey, babe,
That's a good one.
name that star after you.
It's a good one, or it's a fucking cheapo move.
I mean, if she's
Hey,
sentimental,
You know where I
right?
got that from?
Hey, so Bora Bora was booked, but great news. See that star
Also,
that you can't see?
I couldn't find a ring. I couldn't find a ring that fit
You're
your finger.
awesome. You're fucking awesome, dude.
but I got you.
You know what? It doesn't go away ever. It'll be here long after you and me. That star.
Forever. That motherfucker might even fucking come and crash on us, right? But hey, that's for you, babe.
You're fucking
Naming a
great.
star after you, because you get. So you know where I got that from? Was a Nicholas
Of course it
called
was.
Family Man with Tia.
National Treasure.
What's her name? Was it Jen? No, not National Treasure. Also, Diane Kruger. That was just on the other day.
I know
The
what
movie's
Family
called
Man is.
Family
Yeah,
Man.
yes, I do.
He was like, yeah.
Moving on.
Number one is a framed picture of a map with the exact coordinates of the very first time you guys ever met.
Oh,
Now that-
Wow.
okay. Way to go from
I've never-
Johnny
I've
Cheeseball
never done it, but
cheapo
it's
fucking
something-
name a star after you to really fucking hitting it home.
That's a good
Great
one.
work.
Well, because I'm like a stickler for the. If I'm in a relationship, I'm like a stickler for the details. Like I will remember everything. I was like, all right, remember this. This one is going to come back to bite you if you fucking forget this one, right? So I think that's
Write
always
that
like
one down for next Valentine's
Again,
Day.
I've never been able to. There you go, Kristen. Don't listen
Don't
to
worry,
it.
she doesn't.
And then you can name a star after her too.
Hard pass.
Mr. Romantic over here.
Dude, wait to shuffle it up. Great Final Four.
That was wild. So I don't have any bubble teams tonight, but number 4 I went flowers and jewelry. Just it's the go-to. It's easy. When I
Typical.
Hey,
when I
buddy.
forget,
It's
it's
all good.
I can run to the jewelry store real quick or whatever and
You-
make
you know
everything
what they
okay.
say in the Final Four. That's chalk.
Yeah.
I don't know what it means, but that's what
That's
what
a
they
chalk
say.
answer. No, 100%
Chalk
chalk.
pick.
That's a
Chalk
chalk
pick.
answer.
No,
but
dude, it's a winner.
it-
Total winner.
it's I mean, I work a lot. I'm a busy guy, so sometimes I forget things, and nothing that jewelry can't fix, though, right? So
winner. Yeah, always appreciate
exactly.
Chalk.
Yeah, no, for sure. Number 3, I'm actually stealing this from you, Hoff. It jumped up my list. A house, a second house or a cottage or something like that. That would be. I
Right?
mean, that would be awesome. That's
So
it's
for all the
like-
listeners out there, if you're a real estate agent, you can get Kevin and me some fucking sweet houses in the tropics. We're in.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, I was thinking of the UP for the wintertime.
That's and it would be a total power move too, like Malloy said. I mean,
100%.
just buying
Oh,
someone a
shout,
house. It's
son.
like when Ellen DeGeneres' wife bought her. What was it? She built her a gorilla foundation to save the gorillas for her birthday. It's like that's the ultimate power move. She just started her a foundation.
It's an interesting bridge to build, but
Sounds like I got to get a
You know?
new job.
Yeah,
I do love Harambe.
same. Cincinnati's it. Cincinnati's it.
too.
Yeah.
Um,
Pissed.
Number 2 on my list is a vacation. I didn't pick a specific vacation, but just a vacation. I mean, we've actually looked at going to Bali recently, so that would be
Roll call Bollywood.
yeah, Bollywood. But a vacation is always a good gift, and it's always appreciated. My wife likes to travel, so do I. So it's always good. We've done a few good trips. And then the last one on my list, you said real or imaginative. So this one, I really went outside the box. I was telling Nail, yeah, it is. I was telling Nails about it before, but I didn't say what it was. But a lion. I am a huge lion fan, and I would love my wife to get me a pet lion.
Like a cub? Like raise it from a cub?
Yeah, exactly. Like you've probably seen YouTube videos and stuff of people owning lions and stuff like that. Like, yeah,
I've seen the Lion King, not the Lion King. What's the
Mufasa?
What's that?
Tiger King?
What's that?
Wrong animal altogether, but
Tiger King.
I've always wanted a pet lion. I'm not going to be some weirdo like Joe and Carol Baskin or anything like that, but I've always wanted a pet lion. I think that'd be
yeah, I mean, I only want like a baker's dozen, not like three.
Yeah,
I'm not a total weirdo.
exactly. But because it's imaginative, if I could get my wife to get me a pet lion, that'd be awesome. We put it in the backyard. Our dog probably wouldn't like it, but yeah, exactly.
Well,
We've got a
all
bunch
the
of other
other
animals
animals.
that would be gone, but
Dude, Lion and Shadow just fucking tag teaming, like staring Dan right in the fucking eyes. What are you looking at, bitch?
a couple cats, yeah.
I'm going back to America.
I'm out of here right now. Just give me the Pamil bacon. I'm gone. Oh, it's you know what I'm glad you guys didn't say.
Fantastic.
I'm glad nobody said massages. I can't even say it because I've never had one.
You
Yeah,
said
I almost did.
sausages.
I've never had a massage in my life, and I'm so
Yeah.
glad you guys didn't say that. So,
It-
I've
I don't want somebody like I'm not going to pay
No,
somebody
exactly.
like to touch my girl, even though it's probably
I'll give her a
not
massage.
I paid for a gym membership to fucking Massage Envy for a decade, I think, for her. So, anyhow, I'm glad you guys didn't say massages because I am out on that. So, I do have a credit for an in-home one to come here at some point that I think the company fucking
There you go.
defaulted. So, you got
Father's
it.
Day.
Not for me, but for everyone else. But, buddy, Chef Kevin, as always, love seeing you. Good to see you on a Friday. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Next time when I see you, I hope that I'm sporting a lion tattoo and a crown to go with it.
With an olive branch.
Yeah, and a shark. We'll get the shark tattoos for the Tim Woody crest.
Yeah.
Right in our chest. That's the story for another day. But buddy, do we miss anything?
Nothing here.
Nails?
Happy 31 days to St. Patrick's Day.